What are we going to see? Is the move going to be the most dominant team in NA, or will Super Frogs get their revenge?
It's the composition that SSDS and Avenge used to beat WizK last year at the North American Finals. So Super Frogs are breaking out a composition that was used a long time ago to take down WizK. Let's see if they can do it again here today. You see a sap on Cubsy. This is a great start for the move. Pigui's basically got maximum damage and free crowd control to start the fight off.
Yep, Wealthy Man's going to be running over, landing the full hammer of justice onto Absurd. Silence onto Cubsy. Chun-Li taking so much damage early on. Already trading out the dive by the sword as they have so much pressure. You can see Absurd, he's going to be moving in, throwing out some purges. Pressure going to be swapped over onto Cubsy as well. Wealthy Man rotting down. The move have so much pressure early on.
This is just insane. WizK is not going to let history repeat itself. You can throw a Warrior at this Shadow Priest. You could throw a Ret Paladin at this Shadow Priest. You could throw a Mountain at him, and WizK will still do 700,000 DPS. Cubsy is just flailing to stay alive. Ascendant's popped. He needs these healing waves, but he gets caught into a stun. Sanctuary gets him out. Cubsy needs to cast some free heals. Everybody is rotting down. WizK's damage is insane. He's trying to mass dispel maybe preemptively for a Hodge. A kick now landed onto Cubsy's heal. The Ascendance is over. Absurge is right on top of him for potential win share. A full blind. He trinkets out. Absurge into the intimidating shout. WizK moves over there for a Psychic Stream. They're looking to force the Divine Shield. Shadowward Deaths are crashing in. Peekaboo is dipping low. There's the Divine Shield forced out. Peekaboo is still low though. Evasion gets popped to dodge the incoming attacks as both teams go all out.
This is spiraling out of control for Super Frogs. WizK though still has the dispersion. He gets low. Kick onto Cubsy. Chun-Li's rotting. Wealthy Man rotting as well. He trinkets to try to survive. Gets interrupted though. Chun-Li's still so low. He's going to be sitting in that Earthen Shield Totem from Cubsy. Make himself a little bit tankier to keep himself alive. Peekaboo actually doesn't have his evasion, doesn't have his vanish, but Vendetta is coming up, and that is going to be the scariest moment of all.
I mean, he just has to press it right now, and I think Chun-Li dies. I don't even think he needs crowd control. There's a kidney shot. Press Vendetta. Chun-Li's easily going to go down. He tries to Stormbolt to buy him a couple more seconds. He needs 1 second. He gets the Spirit Link. He stays alive. Wealthy Man's moving in. He has Blessing of Protection. It would be a bit of a throwaway to not use it. Here is Cubsy silenced. The entire team crowd controlled. WizK's in Void form. The Void Overlord has arrived. Everybody rotting down. Windshear landed. Wealthy Man goes down as the move almost get a triple in game number 1.
And this is like...
We can just kind of see Peekaboo's control over the situation here. He's doing such a phenomenal job locking down Cubsy, just staying on his target, baiting out that fake cast, and then finally landing a kick. Then Cubsy has to position like that to avoid Abster's shear, but then he walks into Peekaboo's blind, and then he walks into WizK's fear and WizK's silence, and then here we have the bubble as well. I mean, this is just unbelievable how annoying it must be really for Cubsy to deal with all of this. It all starts off with that one kidney shot, and of course, because you have that Ret Paladin, he can remove that with the Hand of Sanctuary, but that's not the end of it, because you have Peekaboo still sitting on target here, and I mean, it also comes down to the positioning of Absturge, and I mean, it's just too much for Cubsy to deal with. He's getting attacked from every angle, and we can just go ahead and roll it right away and see what happens. Cubsy's gonna get Hand of Sanctuary out of that kidney shot, because he has to, of course, and then Peekaboo holding his kick, and that's because Ascendance is up. He wants to kick so that when the kick fades right there, Ascendance goes off at the same time as well. And look at Absturge pincering Cubsy like that, forcing him to walk back to Peekaboo's line of sight, gets blinded right there, and of course feared on his trinket into that silence. And then we can see here WizK is going to be dropping that Shadow Crash, proccing that Divine Shield, even dropping. It is impossible for Cubsy to really do anything about this, and here again they've already forced out the Hand of Sanctuary, full silence onto Cubsy. You see WizK in Void form just killing everyone on the map, and here Absturge, he's gonna try to come in and drop that Spirit Link, but he doesn't manage to get it off in time.
He is on their best class. Everybody is on what they are known for. We have a battle of the best in the grand final. Who is going to outplay? Who is going to win? Is it going to be the move or Super Frogs?
Yeah, I mean, last time we had Sea-Doo versus Absturge, a battle of the Shamans to deem crown who is king. This time it's Absturge versus Cubsy, as Cubsy looks to dethrone Absturge, subbing in Chun-Li on this Windwalker Monk channel on the Affliction Warlock. Early aggression towards WizK with the Fists of Fury flying. Chun-Li leading the charge. This could easily be a dispersion as WizK dips dangerously low. The Succubus play again from Chanimal, catching Absturge off guard. Fear on WizK, forcing it to disperse. And this is the first game where Super Frogs have the momentum and potentially damage later on to win.
Yeah, Chun-Li going to be a pressure point as well, but he's been doing a good job with the pressure on the WizK. Still has that Touch of Death available as well. Incapacitate over onto Absturge. Peekaboo getting controlled up nicely there by Chanimals. WizK still taking a lot of pressure. Kidney shot now on Cubsy. This is when it's going to get scary. Peekaboo can get bleeds up on everyone, but they've been doing such a good job shutting down WizK. Really hasn't been able to get too much damage rolling.
All right, WizK still the primary target here for Chanimal and Chun-Li. They are trying to interrupt those vampiric touches as much as possible. WizK trying to capitalize on the interrupt with a mass spell or fake some more casts. He's getting vampiric touches on everyone. Double leg sweep, fear secured. Great setup from the Super Frogs. This could easily be the Void Shift or a potential kill. Absurge dispels the dots. Touch of Death ticks. WizK's holding on by a thread. Absurge tries to move in. He's trying to be greedy. He's got Spirit Link. He doesn't want to get interrupted by Chanimal though. He's getting mind gamed pretty hard right now, but WizK will hang on. The counterspell has now been used on WizK. Absurge dodges back to the tomb, connecting some big healing waves. He will top off. Absurge not choking. They're under immense pressure.
Yeah, and when WizK goes for those mass dispels, he will be removing all of those Affliction Warlock dots, but there is the stun, as well as the incapacitate over on Absurge. This could be the Void Shift, as he gets lower and lower. Void Shift's going to be used over on the Absurge, but they are shredding through the defensive cooldowns of the move. Meanwhile, Chanimal's rotting low. Chun-Li forced to use the Touch of Karma as well. Kick now over on the Cubsy. That is his Ascendance, but he's managed to get off some heal.
Absurge, the swap over the Fist of Fury into the leg sweep. He needs one more second, but it's not enough. Chun-Li makes a swap at a critical moment and finds a kill, and suddenly Windwalker, Affliction Warlock, Resto, Shaman seems to be somewhat...
I want to see the best players on the classes that they're known for absolutely shredding that game. Very quick, but some of the highest level plays that you can possibly see, Zico.
Yeah, and now we get to see Chun-Li go off that warrior, and finally he is back on the Windwalker, and boy does he look good with that Fist of Fury into leg sweeps.
Main stage, and so he puts the mic up and says, hey look, I know you don't want to spoil any secrets, and he goes, no, I'm playing the Windwalker monk, and that's what Chun-Li just did here.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't lose like I did.
Tied up 1-1. That's a little bit of World of Warcraft history for you. Venruki, an absolute legend, but so is everyone in this arena, and they have history as well. Recent history. A few hours ago, these two teams played against each other, and the move convincingly took the win. Will Super Frogs be able to change that and take the lead in the series on Tiger's Peak?
WizK's charged to the center of the map. He's going to be looking to get Vampire touches rolling. Peekaboo throwing Garrote silences for everybody. Now Kidney shotting the Warlock and blinding the Shaman, getting a trinket, which is a fair exchange as Vendetta had already been committed. I would say that this opener is looking better for the Super Frogs overall.
Yeah, Peekaboo wanted to get very aggressive early on, so WizK actually has an opportunity to get some dots out, get that pressure rolling. Peekaboo getting swapped to though as Chun-Li comes back, but when Chun-Li comes back like that, it's easy for Peekaboo to get the Rupture up on him, get some spread pressure going, so it's kind of a double-edged sword.
All right, Chun-Li just hammering down on WizK. Peekaboo trying to swap between Cubsy and Chanimal. Chun-Li rolling over for an incapacitate. This could be potentially a huge burst as Touch of Death has been popped. Fists of Fury, tons of damage. Dispersion immediately traded out for WizK to recover.
Yeah, not a bad trade there for him. Vampiric Embrace already been used, as well as the Dispersion. That was a Touch of Death. And it was a nice silence coming from WizK as well, denying Cubsy that cap stun. Chun-Li taking a whole bunch of pressure with the Garrote silence over onto Cubsy. He's forced to use the Touch of Karma. Cubsy's still getting a little bit low here as Peekaboo's trying to keep the pressure up on him, but a big swap over onto Peekaboo forces him to use the Cloak of Shadows.
Yeah, it was good support from Chun-Li to come back and harass Peekaboo, who's chasing Cubsy around the map. It seems like Peekaboo's just training down the healer, but he might not be able to as Chanimal's right next to him, landing some fears. He could get some Drain Souls out. I'm curious to see if Chanimal goes for a Succubus play here soon onto Absturge. WizK getting Fist of Fury, but not enough damage to really back up or punch through. We've got Vendetta available for Peekaboo. This is going to be a scary swap to Cubsy. Cubsy needs to be ready for it. I can just imagine Peekaboo wants to make a Shadow Step Kidney. Maybe not. Just pulls the trigger. Chanimal might not have been ready. Shadow Step to Cubsy to reconnect. That's going to be a Hellstone forced out from Chanimal. Nice play from Peekaboo with that Shadow Step to the Shaman to get back to the Warlock on the opposite side of the pillar.
Yeah, look at Peekaboo. He knows what Chun-Li wants to do. Immediately running back in Absurge line of sight, spamming out the feint. Chun-Li not able to capitalize on that opportunity, switches back over to WizK, trying to put some pressure there. Chanimal's trying to put pressure on Peekaboo. Meanwhile, WizK trying to keep that pressure on Chun-Li. No one really wants to overcommit in these setups. And I think Peekaboo ultimately wins this war if he can get the pressure rolling onto Cubsy with the Garrote. The Rupture. Finally, Chanimal's able to get some UAs out as well. Chun-Li looking for the incapacitate, lands it on the Absurge. big pressure now onto WizK with the Fists of Fury. Sun Cubsy getting silenced, so as Chun-Li gets lower and lower. Keep in mind, Chun-Li doesn't have the Touch of Karma for another 8 seconds.
All right, Cubs is going to pop Ascendance. That's going to get his team topped off, but Absterge is still holding on to his, so he can do a big push later with that if he needs to. Vendetta shortly available. Peekaboo and WizK are rotting down. Channel's damage is starting to mount. We see a blind on Cubsy. He does not want to trinket blind if Vendetta is not available. He wants trinket for Vendetta. Peekaboo getting swapped, though, as he overextends. Chun-Li trying to punish. Touch of Karma has to be traded out, though. WizK doing so much damage. Absterge caught into a fear. Cubsy caught into a kidney shot. Both teams are in danger as both healers are crowd controlled. Cubsy has Earthen Shield Totem down, protecting him. Vendetta shortly available. Fears are supporting Cubsy. He's actually just launching Lava Burst, trying to add some extra damage, and he got up dispersed with that. Nice offensive switch there from Cubsy.
Yeah, Vendetta still available for Peekaboo. Chun-Li might be the one that they want to take down. He uses his portal just to get a little bit of additional healing. Cubsy in a good spot to land some heals. Shadow Step kick comes in from Peekaboo. Cubsy actually faked it, but he's into the cheap shot. Cheap shot on Chun-Li. He trinkets out. A lot of pressure here for the move as they push in to close out this game. Chun-Li into the kidney shot. Vendetta has been committed. Cubsy trying to keep him alive, but he gets wind cheered. Chun-Li's been left all alone. He gates away back over to Cubsy. Might be able to restabilize here. Absterge charges in, wants to continue the interrupt, but I think the pressure has been lost as they turn their focus over on the Channels. He gates back over. The move has all the momentum right now.
Yeah, the move look way more solid in this game right now. WizK, though, is an isolated target with no trinket, but Channel and Chun-Li so low on health, it's difficult for them to get anything going aggressively. They got 50 seconds before the next Vendetta. They need to get some work done. Cubsy into a silence, into a full Hex, secured potentially for the win. Channel completely isolated, unending resolve, soaking the damage, but it is now faded. Cubsy needs to do some emergency healing, does land it in the nick of time, saving Channel, and mana is fairly in favor of Absterge at this point. We see an in-cap Fist of Fury over onto WizK. Channel trying to get a fear. He lands a fear out of the incapacitate. Great setup, but Chun-Li gets kidney shot away, denying any momentum from the Super Frogs.
Yeah, that was very nicely done. Chun-Li doesn't have a trinket for another minute here. Cubsy almost completely tapped on mana. WizK and Peekaboo putting out a tremendous amount of pressure this game. Absterge sitting very, very comfortable at 50% mana. We haven't even dipped into dampening just yet. Channel's trying to put out some pressure, keep his pet alive as well. WizK getting dots on everything. I think that's very intelligent. Nice caps down into incapacitate over onto Absterge as WizK is forced into that dispersion. Now a big swap over onto Cubsy. He's caught into the kidney shot, into the silence. Vendetta has been used. Cubsy, how are you going to survive this one? He gates away and gets taken down. The move strike back, going up 2-1 in this series.
Absolutely.
A bit more, and in the first game they were a little bit caught by surprise with that cap, in-cap into cap setup and all that damage that WizK was actually taking. So now they knew how to deal with it a little bit better, and I think Peekaboo did a really good job this game, just applying pressure constantly into everybody onto Super Frogs. And I think another crucial thing that they adapted in this series was
if they're able to take this one, they'll only need one more to close out the entire day and be the most dominant team in the NA, not only for the summer season, but the entire year. Can they do it? The gates are now open.
Yep, and Super Frogs had a bloody last series, and Peekaboo looking to continue with that rupture onto the enemy team. Pushing in, getting that sap over onto Cubsy. Garrote onto Channels. Once again, just starting off super aggressive. Doesn't want to allow Super Frogs to get any sort of initial momentum. Cubsy trinketing out immediately into the silence. Vendetta onto Channels. Are they going to force out the Hellstone on any resolve immediately? Kidney shot on Cubsy now. Channels. That is going to be it. That's going to be the Hellstone. That's a big defensive cooldown that they were able to force out very early on.
Yeah, you usually only get one of them a game. It's a full heal for an Affliction Warlock. He's only going to get that once unless he can drop combat, which is very unlikely, so that's probably not going to be available. Absterge drops Healing Tide. He's predicting some of the incoming damage. Chun-Li still has Touch of Death. Looks like he might want to swap. He goes for the Paralysis. WizK could be in trouble. He used his trinket earlier. Chun-Li's going to pull the trigger on that Earth, Wind, and Fire. As Cubsy gets swapped to at the same time, Dispersion has been forced prior to the Touch of Death. Nice fear onto Absterge. WizK could be in trouble. Cubsy as well. Just getting destroyed by Peekaboo. Triple Psychic Scream. Cubsy dangerously low. Everyone is on top of him. How is he going to do with the interrupts? He's trying to jump away from all of this harassment. Peekaboo's still right on his back, though.
Yeah, Peekaboo looking to get that follow-up kidney shot. He gates away. Can Peekaboo reconnect? Silence on the Cubsy, not allowing him to get any heals. Channels ports back, trying to spam out the fears. Chun-Li and Channels playing full defense right now, but the move, they're so good at riding that offense, continuing the pressure. Cubsy gets interrupted. Peekaboo still all over him, looking for another kidney shot. Leg sweep over onto Peekaboo, though. He may have overextended, but he should be fine. Absterge in a great spot to keep him alive.
All right, the fear was mass dispelled there on Absterge, and no damage was taken by Peekaboo. Vendetta is available. there is no trinket on Cubsy. This is a very scared Cubsy right now. One Shadow Step Kidney could just close this game out if he's not careful. He needs to get himself back to full HP at least. He's Earthen Shield Totem used by Absterge a bit preemptively. They're trying to set up for that swap. Cubsy needs to hide for quite some time. A full fear secured onto Absterge. Peekaboo looks like he's trying to go back and forth maybe for a swap later on. They get another fear onto Absterge. Peekaboo trades out evasion. WizK is moving in. There's the silence onto Cubsy. They're actually going to go for Chanimal instead, trying to catch a little bit off guard. He's going to use Unending Resolve and gate across the map. I love the swaps, though, from Peekaboo. The Cubs, they knew that Cubsy expected a swap, so instead they just go on a completely different target. They're going to blow out a lot of Cubsy's mana to deal with that all that unexpected damage.
It's also really important to note, Chanimals, like you said, only gets 1 health stone in the game. WizK getting bursted down, though. He trinkets out. It's a full seduce over onto Absterge. WizK able to keep himself alive, though. Leg sweep now over onto Peekaboo. Is Chun-Li trying to put some pressure there, but everyone's been rotting down for Super Frogs. And like I was saying, Chanimals, he's not going to have that unending resolve for the next Vendetta if they can get to that point. Cloak of Shadows on Peekaboo as he gets lower. WizK gets interrupted. Absterge's able to spam out some heals, keeping his team alive.
All right, Cubsy is falling behind on mana slowly but surely. Here's the silence attempt. Chanimal has no health, no any resolve. He needs to kite for his life. Can Peekaboo make it back? Chun-Li peels him away with the Fist of Fury. Chanimal in position for a portal. Instead, Peekaboo is going to switch targets again to Cubsy, trying to catch him off guard with no Earth Shield. Cubsy's team is all rotting down. How are they going to trade the cooldowns? Karma will be forced from Chun-Li. Absterge's looking for a cheeky Hex. That's a full Hex. Unfortunately, breaks because WizK is just doing so much damage. Cubsy has the cooldowns in the tank to trade out. He just needs to not be too greedy in this position. Touch of Death has been activated. This could be a lot of damage. WizK just going to respect it immediately, trading out Disperse.
Peekaboo, Vendetta, 5 seconds. Chanimals know nothing. Cubsy now into the kidney shot. Is Peekaboo going to pull the trigger? I think he might end up saving it for Chanimals at the spot if they can get a nice swap. But it looks like Chun-Li's trying to get some damage over on the Peekaboo. He should be completely fine. But Peekaboo actually running out of line of sight. Absterge nowhere to be found. Peekaboo may have overextended at this point, getting lower and lower. Absterge needs to get some healing. WizK going up, trying to keep him alive with the powered shield. Ultimately, he will survive. But that was a scary moment for Peekaboo.
All right, Chun-Li, no touch of karma. Channel, no unending resolve. Peekaboo has Vendetta. Peekaboo, this is just a buffet of targets. He's going to go right for Chanimal. Vendetta pop, Chun-Li peeling for him with a Fist of Fury. They need to buy Chanimal enough time for Cubsy to get out of that silence. He's left the silence. WizK's moving in for a Psychic Scream, though. Cubsy has to dodge it. He's not able to. WizK lands the Scream. Chanimal's dipping low. Chun-Li dipping low as well. WizK tearing in. Full Hex out of that. Chun-Li on the run, but Chanimal is left behind. Everyone is just rotting down to the spread pressure. Almost dying to dots. Cubsy barely connects the Spearlink 1 second before the stun. Chanimal is drained solely just for the HP. Everyone is rotting. Everyone is dead. Can they pull off a miracle? They got 10 seconds left on Disperse to kill WizK. 10 seconds to find a kill as they're all hanging on by a thread. Life swap traded out to Absterge. Cubsy is somehow restabilizing. Healing Tide redistributing the health. Absterge is low. Chun-Li has touch of karma. Super Frogs are hanging on. Maybe they can turn this around, Vin.
Yeah, I think they can. WizK on a little bit of trouble right now. Kidney shot over on a Cubsy. He trinkets out of that. Wants to keep his team alive, keep them stable. Chun-Li playing full defense once again. WizK looked for a Master Spell. Peekaboo needs to be able to find his target, but Chun-Li's been making it a nightmare for him. He shadow steps over onto Chanimals, trying to get some damage over there. Still doesn't have the unending resolve for another 6 seconds, but that's going to be up for Chanimals. I think he should ultimately live until that time. Double Fist of Fury stun coming in from Chun-Li onto Peekaboo and WizK. We have just hit dampening. These Shamans are almost completely tapped on mana and cooldowns.
Ooh, that Spear Hand Strike. WizK can't disperse in that. Dispelling some unstable afflictions as well. Absterge luckily had an Earthen Shield Totem down right before that. WizK could have had to disperse or died right there. Cubsy, though, is almost tapped on mana. Peekaboo's going for the throat, chasing down Cubsy in the back line. Peekaboo versus Cubsy, a one-on-one. Cubsy connecting the heals, no kick available. Now WizK is the one falling behind. Absterge caught in paralysis, he trinkets out of that. WizK jumps into Void Form to try and 1v1 Chun-Li, but Karma is available to reverse that pressure if he needs to do it. He's gonna port in melee range just for the heal. Cubsy caught into another stun. WizK moving over. If he's got a silence out of this, there's the silence. Cubsy's barely hanging on. Paralysis onto Peekaboo. There's no Spirit Link Totem. Ascendance gets popped, but he gets feared on it. No Wind Shear. Cubsy's barely staying alive again, just by the edge of his seat. Now looking for a Hex. He gets a full Hex. WizK is now in trouble. No Dispersion will be traded out. Peekaboo has cooldowns as well. Absterge should be able to recover in this position, but this is nice from Super Frogs. They are finally showing signs of life and putting some fight into this game.
Yeah, WizK doesn't have anything left. No trinket on Absterge. All they need is one clean setup, and they can definitely take him down. Chun-Li doing a great job holding on to that touch of karma as long as possible, doing everything in his power Is that line of defense? Big burst onto WizK with the Fist of Fury stun. Blood off Silence. Fear on the Absurd. WizK will ultimately go down. And Super Frog strikes back. That was such a dire moment in the game. They're all hovering around 10% HP, but they managed to peel. They managed to hold on.
Here for the move, and on the smaller maps, it seems like Super Frogs are doing better because Chun-Li can just get those incapacitates and actually get that pressure that he needs rolling onto WizK. And I think if it goes all the way to Game 7, this could still be a 4-3 for the move based on that. But I mean, we could also run out of big maps at some point.
They're in such a good place to be able to go there. Super Frogs want to be grabbing these points as well. We're all tied up. Who's going to get on match point?
Yeah, Super Frogs can take down this series. I think they've almost guaranteed their spot at that international LAN, like you were saying. So obviously a lot on the line for both of these teams.
Peekaboo sneaking across the map. See, Chun-Li's just going to charge straight for the Shadow Priest. Chanimal going to back him up. Peekaboo's going to open up on Chun-Li and onto Chanimal. That's a great start for Peekaboo. Cubsy moving in. This is the cap totems. We'll see if they can kill this totem. No, they don't manage to do it. Absurge is locked down, but in the meantime, Peekaboo's going for a blind play. He gets leg swept away as both teams are going all out. Now a sap on a Cubsy. Chanimal trades out Unending Resolve to tank out this Vendetta and stay aggressive. Absurge sneaks into Hex. Cubsy's been crowd controlled for the better part of close to 20 seconds as both of his teammates are dipping down to 50% HP. A silence now to follow it up. Chanimal is hiding behind the pillar and just dying to dots. WizK's rotting in the center of the map. Now a kidney shot swap over onto Cubsy, and the move are in complete control.
Yeah, this is so much damage coming in from Peekaboo. Cubsy, how are you going to stabilize? Still has the Spirit Link, still has the Ascendance, drops the Earthen Shield Totem, but immediately he gets kicked. That's one of the good things about Peekaboo. He's always changing up his kick patterns, doesn't always kick late, doesn't always kick early, but likes to keep it spicy for the enemy healer, making it very difficult. Blood Off Silence now onto WizK as he's looking to get some damage out, and Chun-Li's looking to shut that down. Such a good opener from the move, but honestly, Super Frogs have stabilized.
Yeah, and Cubsy didn't use too much to recover from that. We see a Succubus play on Absturge. Where are the stuns to lock WizK down? We see a Hex a little bit early onto Absturge. We see Leg Sweep. This is an easy disperse. Force from WizK. Will he be greedy? No. Just trades it out. Touch of Death was committed. That's a fair trade for WizK. They swap maybe over to Peekaboo. Peekaboo is trying to go over towards Cubsy. He's overextending and kind of rotting down. Chanimal really putting the counter pressure to him. Absturge is getting tunneled down by Chun-Li. Chun-Li is trying to mix it up, go after some different targets as well. Basically anyone in this game is a kill target.
Yeah, this is looking like a completely different game. Super Frog's just completely in the driver's seat. Fist of Fear stun on the WizK once again. They're really shutting him down. Vendetta's going to be committed over onto Cubsy. They forced out the Astral Shift, but not the Trinket. So what they need now is a kidney shot into silence on Cubsy in the next swap. They can do that. It's likely going to be Cubsy's Trinket, and that's where they can start getting a lot of momentum.
We see a silence on Cubsy. Vendetta is ticking. The kidney shot is available. Cubsy pops Ascendance before it to try and top off. WizK is 1v1ing Chun-Li in the center of the map. A spell lock landed onto Absurge. Peekaboo is dipping low. They could swap over to him. No Trinket. Fists of Fury. I don't know if it's enough damage. They commit the leg sweep. They're going all in. 10 more seconds. Not enough. Cloak of Shadows will allow him to easily recover. I like that they're keeping it spicy, though, as Ven was saying, just going after different targets, constantly trying to mix it up. In Cap Fear. Good crowd control. WizK isolated. Drain Soul being channeled as Chanimal looks to try and suck victory straight from WizK. We can see Life Swap is available to redistribute the health if it's needed. Fear on Peekaboo. Fist onto WizK. He trinkets that. Now with no trinket, he could be an isolated target.
WizK with the Shadow Crash on the Cubsy, keeping him low. Absurge gets spell lock. WizK could still be in a little bit of trouble here, but Dispersion is back up. Chun-Li rotting down just a little bit. Peekaboo really struggling so far to keep uptime on his targets. Garrote now onto Cubsy, Garrote onto Chanimals as Peekaboo uses his Vanish, just wants to empower that Garrote, keep that rot pressure up. WizK trying to get dots on Cubsy. Silence now. It's a DR. Unfortunately, that's a disaster for the move offensively.
Whoa!
Now Peekaboo has to trade out his Trinket as well as his evasion, so a little bit of a misplay there from the move.
Yeah, another Trinket evasion forced out. Peekaboo's got Vendetta. Guess who doesn't have a Trinket? Cubsy doesn't. Let's see if Cubsy can deal with this. It looks like they're just going to go for the safe play and go after the Warlock instead, but Cubsy's got Earthen Shield Totem down. Chanimal will happily tank this out for free now. Let's see if he can get the counter pressure going. He's worked his way through the kick. Touch of Death has been committed. This could be a dispersion forced if WizK isn't careful. A ton of damage is about to explode. There it goes. No dispersion needs to be used. Chun-Li portals over to Absurge for the paralysis. Flying Serpent kick back to connect. Spear Hand Strike interrupting that VT, but it looks like they're just going to pull back and go after Peekaboo instead. They've been working down his cooldowns more. Peekaboo's going to use Cloak of Shadows preemptively to stay aggressive. Mana almost tied, but a slight lead for Absurge.
Yeah, silence now on a Cubsy. No Trinket going to be available. Kidney shot on Chanimals. The move looking to get aggressive here. Chun-Li still has that touch of Karma, though, so although he's rotting down, he should be stable on any resolve for Chanimals. Still, Vampiric Embrace going to be used by WizK. Wants to keep his team aggressive in this moment, but WizK just having such a difficult time connecting to his target as they make a big swap over on a Peekaboo. Incapacitate onto Absurge. Is there any follow-up? There's the full fear. Peekaboo caught all alone in the Fist of Fury stun.
Ooh.
After Trinket's out, not able to connect the Spirit Link. Super Frogs winning the swing mash, and now all of a sudden...
It matters a whole bunch. But here, I just want to highlight, look at Chanimals here, getting this nice cross CC here with the full Seduce on the Absturge, full fear onto Peekaboo, and then nice double leg sweep. He knocks Absturge back so he can re-fear him without getting lined. I mean, Chanimals in this series has just been one of the best players in the entire tournament. I think
has almost been hibernating too, in a little bit. Like, he's had phenomenal performances, but we haven't seen his absolute true form, and this seems to be the tournament where he's just going Super Saiyan.
I don't know. I feel like we always doubt Chanimals. When at the spring finals, it was the same thing. It's like, okay, they're playing RLS. Like, that's not a good comp. They're probably going to lose. And then they're the only team that even came close to beating Reformed in the
map. Will the size of this map be enough for the move to tie it all up? This could decide the grand final. This could decide who takes the Summer Season 2 NA Cup #2 crown.
Yep, the move looking to prove Rich wrong and show that really frogs cannot fly. So we'll have to see how that one works out.
Okay, then. Chun-Li starting the fight on WizK. Peekaboo moving right next to him for a double leg sweep. This is a great start for Chun-Li. Chanimal can really start dishing out the pain. We see a Hex maybe spell lock onto Absturge. Pressure's starting to mount up. Peekaboo actually shadow stepping back to his team, or stepping into the enemy team. Cubsy trinketing out of blinds during Vendetta. That's a fair trade for him. As the Vendetta was committed onto Chanimal, he's going to tank it in this Earthen Shield Totem. WizK is getting aggressive. He's going to activate Vampiric Embrace, which is a team-wide heal to make this aggressive push. Chun-Li is still trying to push him out, though, with a double Fist of Fury. So much damage. Absturge has Healing Tide Totem to recover.
Yeah, big cleave pressure for Super Frogs. Chun-Li going to be taking quite a bit of damage here. Double Garrote Sounds going out. Triple Garrote Sounds by Peekaboo, committing his Vanish to make sure he's rotting everybody down. Chun-Li getting low. This could be the touch of karma coming in from him, but no, he holds on with the Fortifying Elixir. Cubsy able to connect the heals. Triple stuns coming out onto the move. Peekaboo getting low. WizK getting low. Dispersion forced out. Nice pressure from Super Frogs.
And this is match point. The move are very far behind in this game, unlike the last. WizK trying to get a massive spell on the dots, not able to find it. He's rotting. Peekaboo's rotting. Absturge is in a tough position. He's gotten to an Infernal Stun. Any interrupt onto Absturge's heal could be the end of the game. Paralysis, unfortunately, breaking there. That could have been a point to kill WizK right here. Now he's not crowd controlled. He pops Ascendance. He's got big heals rolling with these Riptides. It's going to hit both players. Sky Fury Totem down. We see Peekaboo rotting. Chanimal kiting him into a bad position. Peekaboo can't overextend. He's going to go back over towards Chun-Li, but that means they're stacked for a double stun. There's a lot of damage flying towards WizK. Wind Shear landed. He might need to Void Shift. Dangerously, he Void Shifts over to Absturge. Chun-Li rolls over for a swap. How is Absturge going to deal with it? Astral Shift, caught in the Fist of Fury. A Trinket. He's hanging on by a thread. They connect for the Spirit Link, but they are flailing to stay alive as the Super Frogs are saying the move better, move out of the way.
Chun-Li using that Touch of Karma offensively there. That might be an opening for Peekaboo with his Vendetta. Chanimal's going to be using that Unending Resolve. Peekaboo still has a Vendetta. That's a huge opening for them. Silence now onto Cubsy. Chanimals gets feared. He ports away. Peekaboo not going to be able to reconnect. WizK getting some dots now onto Chun-Li. Might be able to make an opportunity there, but man, they force so many of the move's defensive cooldowns in this moment. Peekaboo, you can see just waddling towards his target, trying to reconnect to Cubsy, but Cubsy doing an excellent job kiting him.
No Trinket, no Karma. Kidney the Monk and press Vendetta, and you win, I feel like, at this point. They're not going for it, though. They're going to Kidney Shot and go after Chanimal, who doesn't have Unending Resolve. Either target was vulnerable. The move are finally starting to strike back. Cubsy's trying to hold position with the Ascendance. He's going to stabilize the team. Peekaboo gets caught in a Fist of Fury. He trinkets, but he's dangerous. Oh, it falls! And the Super Frogs have done it. They're going to leap over top of the move, taking this Summer Cup #2 for the North American region, completely mixing up that point.
Everybody's best class, and they just play completely skill-capped. And they dominate 4-2. They are the first team to take a series off of the move this summer. This is the first series that the move have lost. Super Frogs going to take our second NA. This road was for Super Frogs. I mean, the move, they just chill in the upper portion of the bracket. 3-0, 3-0. Yeah, Super Frogs take one off, and then the move's still feeling pretty good. They're hoping for that rematch against the Super Frogs because they don't want to play against the Super Rejects, a.k.a. the Super Tanks. They're scared that that will not work for their strategy. So they're like, come on, Super Frogs, jump on back up. Jump up back here. Come on, let's hang out. 4-2. Super Frogs going to be able to take it. Just not something that we could predict.